The heat wave is expected to extend to Namibia, Botswana, Madagascar, and other countries on the continent. Most parts of South Africa have been experiencing abnormally hot weather with temperatures above 35 degrees in some areas. I'm joined now by Puseletso Mofokeng, who is with the South African Weather Service. Puseletso, thanks for making time for us. So this heat wave has been showing us flames over the last couple of days. Let's start with why we've been experiencing these high temperatures. It's been a few days now.
Good afternoon, Clement, and good afternoon to the viewers as well. Yes, the heat wave is as a result of the persistently high temperatures, and this is because of the semi-stationary high pressure system that had been sitting with us since last week. We did expect that by around Friday the heat wave would have ended, but obviously we made another promise to say that we will be monitoring the situation, and indeed, seeing that the system is not moving away, we extended the heat wave to about Tuesday next week. So the reason why we have the heat wave conditions is because we have the semi-stationary high pressure system that is persistently causing subsidence, and that's why we have high temperatures that aren't necessarily changing over time. So that is the main reason why we have the heat wave.
And when can we expect this heat wave to end and see a return to sort of the normal temperatures?
Well, the termination of heat wave is going to be very short-lived. For instance, we are expecting that by Tuesday, much of the areas where we have given the heat wave over the eastern areas of the Northern Cape, the Free State, the rest of the Free State, the rest of the Northwest, Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, as well as northern areas of the Eastern Cape. That heat wave is going to end on Tuesday, more particularly leaving many areas without a heat wave. I think the heat wave will continue on Wednesday, but it will continue only over Limpopo. Otherwise, on Thursday, nowhere in the country will have heat wave conditions, except that we are going to have another semi-stationary high pressure system dominating, and this is going to cause another high temperatures again. I don't want to say heat wave at this stage, but by the looks of things, starting from Thursday, although on Thursday we're going to have cooling, starting from Thursday to next week on the 11th, we are going to have another semi-stationary high pressure. So probably the heat wave conditions are going to come back again just after Thursday.
So it's not only our country that's affected. We are seeing what's happening in fact, Southern Africa, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Botswana, in Malawi as well. So have the temperatures there been as extreme as we've experienced here?
Well, I'm going to speak under subjectivity. I don't have access to their temperatures, but we just had a meeting, rather a training here in Manley, where most of them did actually indicate the heat wave conditions. That was representatives from Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, including Madagascar and the Seychelles. They are experiencing very hot temperature conditions. This is because of the very same high pressure system. It's actually a very elongated high pressure system sitting over the subcontinent. That is why we are having these conditions. But I must point out that there is no standard definition for a heat wave. I do know that we all experience hot conditions, abnormally so, but our definition here in South Africa is necessarily the conditions, the temperature conditions that are at least 5 degrees higher, at least 5 degrees higher than the average of the hottest month, which is January. So that's what we are experiencing currently. I did notice from my colleagues in the region, that is the SADC region, that they don't actually have a definition for their own countries, and for that reason, it's very difficult for me to commit and say there was heat wave over their country. In fact, the WMO give us the space to each define our own heat wave the way we know temperatures to be in our countries.
Yeah. How should people then prepare and adjust to these temperatures? So what do we need to do when we are warned by the weather service that we'll be experiencing some of these extreme patterns?
I think that is the most important question. In this kind of conditions, it is important to spend as much less of the time in the direct sunlight. And more than that, it is also important that from time to time we drink cool water and not other substances, but water directly, so that we remain cool, we remain hydrated. And again, we find shade as much as we can. Even those who are to be expected to work out in the field, they have to find a way in which they can do rotations. In other words, one person or a few people mustn't spend too much time in the direct sunlight, but rather there should be that rotation, 1 hour in, 1 hour out. So in that case, we can avoid the impact of this heat wave. Another important tip that I can give is to take care of animals, to give them water as well, to keep them cool in cool areas. Also, not to leave them in the vehicles and as we leave. For example, there are people who drive around with dogs in their vehicles. So at the time when we leave our vehicles, it is important that we leave with them as well. And again, we should actually look into the fact that we shouldn't walk for long trips on the road. That is also very, very dangerous. The impact of it would be that people may lose the focus, they may get fatigue, sudden fatigue, they may actually have heat stroke. But unfortunately, or fortunately, this time around, the heat wave is not as bad as perhaps in 2016 when we had record-breaking heat waves. So the heat waves, they broke records one after another in quick succession at that time in January 2016. So fortunately, we are not in that condition, and that doesn't obviously negate the fact that we have to take care of ourselves.
So in terms of just the long-term focus for the entire summer, what are you guys picking up at the South African Weather Service? And what kind of December can we look forward to?
We are still going ahead with the forecast for the El Nino. You would remember that the South African Weather Service is one of the centers that is authorized to give out the regional forecast, especially for seasonal forecast. So we're still in the El Nino. But over and above that, we have to remember that the sea surface temperatures just off the east coast of Africa are still generally warm. That's why we have the mixture of heat wave and extreme conditions. So that's the picture that we are still looking at. Because of the continued heat wave, we are going to have interchange with some extreme weather from time to time. So looking into December, as I pointed out, you would remember earlier I did mention that we are going to have the high pressure system, upper high pressure system dominating again from Thursday next week all the way to at least the 11th of December. So up to that time, we can expect perhaps another heat wave, but we'll give details closer to the time.
All right, Puseletso Mofokeng, thank you very much for joining us.